Appreciation tam. 10 psychological tricks manipulators use on you and how to outsmart them. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling like you just got played, but you can't quite put your finger on how? Or maybe you've bought something you didn't need, agreed to something you didn't want, or felt guilty over something that wasn't even your fault. You might have been manipulated. In today's world, manipulation isn't just something that happens in shady business deals or toxic relationships. It happens every day, in conversations with friends, colleagues, family members, and even strangers. From subtle emotional nudges to full-blown mind games, manipulators have mastered psychological tricks to bend others to their will. In this video, we'll uncover 10 psychological tactics that manipulators use to get inside your head and how you can outsmart them. Some of these are used by master manipulators, while others are so subtle, even well-meaning people use them without realizing. Let's break it down. 1. The foot in the door technique. This tactic is one of the most common in social psychology. It's based on the principle of consistency. Humans like to behave in ways that match their past actions. So when someone gets you to agree to a small request, it makes it easier to persuade you to comply with a larger request later. Here's a scenario. Imagine a coworker asks if you can help them with a minor part of their project, like reviewing a document. Seems harmless, right? But once you agree, they later escalate the ask. Since you know it so well, could you just help me finish it? You feel obligated because you already committed. Manipulators love this trick because it's disarming. It doesn't trigger alarm bells like a direct demand might. How to outsmart it. Recognize when a series of requests escalate in size. Don't be afraid to say no to the bigger favor, even if you said yes to the smaller one. Consistency matters, but so do your boundaries. Second, gaslighting. Gaslighting is psychological warfare. It's when someone makes you doubt your own memory, perception, or sanity. They twist facts, deny events, and spin narratives to gain power over your reality. A good example for gaslighting is, your partner makes a cruel comment, but when you bring it up later they say, you're imagining things. I never said that. Over time, you begin second-guessing your own memory, and by effect, you start to let another construct a false reality by means of manipulation. If that pattern continues, it can lead to a very toxic environment, especially if you are close to the perpetuator. Gaslighting works because it erodes your confidence. If you can't trust your own mind, you become vulnerable and easier to manipulate. How to outsmart it. Document interactions. Write things down or text yourself notes regarding any time you feel like you've been gaslit. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't underestimate the power of subconscious mind. Sometimes a red alert goes off in your head for a reason. Get outside perspectives. Talking to a neutral third party, especially someone who is close to you and knows your behaviors, can help you regain clarity and help get to the bottom of your suspicions. 3. Love bombing. At first glance, love bombing seems like kindness. It's when someone overwhelms you with affection, gifts, and praise to quickly establish a bond which might feel really good when they are doing it, but unfortunately, and can have a darker manipulation tactic than it might seem at first glance. This creates emotional dependency. A classic example of love bombing is a new partner showers you with attention, calls you their soulmate after a week, and talks about moving in together after a month, basically accelerating things way faster than logic can keep up with, leaving you a victim of their emotional trap. Here's the danger. Once you're emotionally hooked, the manipulator can suddenly withdraw the affection, leaving you desperate to regain their approval. You start asking yourself, what happened? What did I do? Why don't they like me like they liked me in the past? What can I do to fix this? And the balance in the relationship can become hopelessly out of balance. This imbalance opens the door to control. How to outsmart it. Watch for speed. Here in the real world, you can't force a meaningful connection in a handful of encounters. Healthy connections build gradually over time, and it's a red flag when someone's trying to ramp up the speed. Set boundaries early. If things move too fast, voice your concerns and please set your boundaries, people. If you're uncomfortable with the pacing and feel as if things are moving a lot faster than you're liking, then don't be afraid to voice your concern. It sets a precedent on how you would like to be treated moving forward. Look for patterns. Is this person intense with everyone or just you? Stay vigilant on their encounters with other people, and if you have a suspicion, ask around mutual friends. Maybe you're not the only one they're doing this to. 4. The scarcity effect. Scarcity drives urgency. It's the idea that we value things more when they're rare or running out. Manipulators use this to rush you into choices. It's also a common sales tactic used by sleazy business people. Common examples are a salesperson says, "This deal expires today," or a partner says, "You won't find anyone else who loves you like I do." Scarcity clouds judgment. When we think we might lose something, logic takes a backseat to impulse, and people tend to go into preservation mode. I mean, who likes losing something, especially when you can prevent it? How to outsmart it. Slow down. Take time to evaluate decisions. Don't completely power off your brain. That's how you fall victim of their trap. Just slow down and ponder other options. Ask yourself, would I want this if I had all the time in the world? Don't fear missing out. Good opportunities and good people don't disappear overnight. 5. Guilt tripping. Guilt is one of the easiest emotions to manipulate, and manipulators will use your own empathy against you. Scenario: a friend says, "I guess you don't care about me since you can't help this weekend," or, "After all I've done for you, this is how you treat me." Manipulators exploit empathy. They make you feel like you're a bad person unless you comply with what is essentially their demand. How to outsmart it. Recognize emotional blackmail. True friends don't demand sacrifices. Stay firm. Acknowledge their feelings without caving. "I understand you're upset, but I can't help right now." And remember, you are not responsible for managing everyone's emotions. 6. The silent treatment. Silence can be a weapon, and it can be an effective one in emotional war. A relatable example is, after a minor disagreement, someone ignores you for days. You feel anxious, wondering what you did wrong. The silent treatment triggers discomfort and a craving for resolution. Manipulators use this to regain control and force you to apologize, even when you're not at fault. Key word here is control manipulators. Will you this tactic to maintain power over you until you identify what they are doing and take your power back. How to outsmart it. Don't chase. Let them sit in silence. Let them know that whenever they are ready, you would like to talk about what is upsetting them. But if they keep up the silent act, don't feel the need to keep going back and reaffirm them. You will only strengthen their resolve to keep going, and you will fall deeper into the trap. Respect your own emotions. If you're being punished with silence, take space for yourself too. Try not to have their silence on your mind at all times. It will just fill you with anxious thoughts. Communicate calmly. I'm open to talking when you're ready to be respectful. Seventh, triangulation. Triangulation brings a third party into your conflict to create jealousy, insecurity, or competition. Scenario: your partner says, "My ex never complained about this," or "Everyone else agrees with me." Manipulators use this to undermine your confidence and shift your focus away from the real issue. Basically, what they are trying to do is bring in other perspectives to degrade your stance. How to outsmart it? Stay grounded. Don't get dragged into comparisons, especially if it happens often. If it was a successful tactic, once then, they will keep a mental note that it works efficiently on you. Focus on facts. Address your concerns directly without involving the third party. Both parties should be able to voice opinions without bringing another one into it. Recognize the tactic. Manipulators use triangulation to destabilize you and make you think that you are objectively in the wrong. Make mental notes on how often they bring another party up to try and prove themselves to be right. 8. Playing the victim. Some manipulators are perpetual victims. No matter what happens, they spin it so they're always the one who's wronged, even when they themselves are doing the wrong. Scenario: you call them out on their behavior, and they say, "Why does everyone always attack me?" Or, "You're hurting me by bringing this up." Victimhood shields them from accountability and makes you feel guilty. Victims avoid accountability like it's the plague, which makes this tactic one of the easiest to identify. How to outsmart it? Stay calm. Don't get emotionally hijacked. The more they run from accountability, the more frustrating it will get. But if you voice that frustration, they will only deeper recluse into their false sense of victimhood. Refocus the conversation. I understand you feel hurt, but we still need to address what happened. Look for patterns. Are they always the victim, no matter the situation? 9. Mirroring. Mirroring is when someone mimics your behavior, speech, or interests to build rapport quickly. Scenario: a new acquaintance shares your exact tastes, mirrors your body language, and agrees with everything you say. You might feel like that person just has a lot in common with you, but you can be falling into a manipulator's trap. Why it works? We naturally trust people who seem similar to us. Manipulators fast-track trust by creating a false sense of connection. How to outsmart it? Notice intensity. Are they mirroring too much? Too fast? Test them. Disagree with them on something small and see how they react. Set a trap of your own. Stay cautious. Don't reveal too much too soon. 10. The false dichotomy. This tactic limits your choices to two extremes, forcing you into a corner. Scenario: you're either loyal to me or you're against me. Do or die. Manipulators present black and white scenarios to pressure you into compliance. How to outsmart it? Call it out. I don't think those are the only two options. Introduce nuance. Life is rarely either or, then present alternatives that contradict their more extreme options. Refuse to be boxed in. Recognize when someone is forcing binary thinking, and simply lay out more logical options. Why do manipulators succeed? Because these tactics hijack our emotions: fear, guilt, loyalty, love, and urgency. When we're emotionally charged, we stop thinking critically. Key strategies to outsmart manipulation: self-awareness. Pay attention to how you feel in interactions. Emotional regulation. Don't react impulsively when triggered. Boundary setting. Be firm and clear with your limits. Critical thinking. Always question rushed or emotional decisions. Seek outside feedback. A neutral perspective can help you break free from manipulation cycles. Manipulation is about control, but now you have the knowledge to protect yourself. The next time you sense someone pulling psychological strings, you'll be ready. If you found this breakdown helpful, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into human psychology. Drop a comment below. Have you experienced any of these tactics in your own life? How did you deal with it? Stay sharp and remember, you have the power to control your own mind.